What's going on, fishing buddy? I'm gonna go over 5 must-have lures for bass fishing. Now, these are lures I never leave home without. So let's hit the tackle wall and see what lures I think you should always keep in your tackle box. I'm gonna go over these in no particular order whatsoever. These are just 5 lures that I believe every bass fisherman should have in their tackle box at all times. And I'm gonna start with the stick bait. By far, one of my favorite lures to always keep tied on is the stick bait. Now, the reason why I like the stick bait is because you can fish this thing year round. No matter if it's fall, winter, summer, spring, it doesn't matter. My favorite way to fish the stick bait is Texas rig, weightless and weedless. But you can fish it all sorts of ways. You can fish it with a Texas rig, wacky rig, on a Ned rig, a bullet weight, peg the bullet weight, whatever you want to do, it just absolutely catches fish. So when I fish at Texas rig, I use it with a 3-0, 4-0, or 5-0 EWG hook, and that stands for extra wide gap. And I'll use either the 3-0, 4-0, or 5-0 depending upon the size of the stick bait, because they come in a variety of sizes, whether it's 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch, they make them in all different sizes. So it just depends on the size of the stick bait that I'm throwing, what type of hook I'm going to pair it with. Some of my favorite colors to throw are going to be watermelon red, green pumpkin, watermelon with a little bit of blue in it, June bug. They come in a variety of colors. Just, again, an absolutely great bait to throw any time of year. You should always have one of these in your tackle box at all times. Next on the list, the suspending jerk bait. Now, I will take this over a crankbait any day because you can fish it just like a crankbait with a steady retrieve, but when you give it that erratic twitch pause type of retrieve, it'll hold its position. With the suspending jerkbait, when you stop it, it's gonna pause. It's gonna sit there and it's gonna suspend, which can be great on like summer days when the bass are just slow, it's hot, and if you can get it down deep enough and you can get that twitch pause and let it just sit there and suspend, you're probably gonna get a strike on it. One of my favorite ones to throw is the BRUISER Baits Banger 110. Has awesome castability, has rattles in it, great action, comes in a variety of colors, and the jerk baits are going to come in many different sizes. But whatever suspending jerk bait you decide to put in your tackle box, keep one in there, no matter the size, because it will definitely catch some fish. Next up, the paddle tail swim bait. Now, I always have a paddle tail swim bait with me. Absolutely love throwing this. It is so versatile. You can fish this a number of ways. Now, the way that I like to fish it is I will pair it with a belly-weighted 4-0 hook with a bait keeper. I usually use the BRUISER Baits Super Swimmer or the BRUISER Baits Slimmer Swimmer, which is a little bit lower profile of a swim bait. One of my favorite ways to fish it is on top. Just take it, rip it through the water, give the rod just a steady back and forth pulsing action, almost like a twitch, but you're keeping it on the top. You're just reeling really fast. Huge blow-ups when it comes to fishing this thing on top. Some of my favorite colors for the paddle tail swim bait are going to be like a watermelon red with a white belly on it. I like the blue with the chartreuse. I like the June bug. I like the copper color styles, the black and the silver. Just, they come in a variety of colors. If you don't have one of these in your tackle box, you are definitely missing out. Number 4 on the list, going back to the hard plastic jerk bait. Sometimes, especially where I live here in Florida, you can't always throw a hard plastic jerk bait because of the treble hooks, so I always have a soft plastic jerk bait. Now, this thing is absolutely awesome for when you're fishing grassy areas. The way I like to fish it is with a 4-0 or 3-0 EWG hook, weightless. Every now and again, I will pair it with the belly-weighted hook like I do with the swim bait, but when you're dealing with a lot of grass like I do down here in Florida, sometimes you can't throw the suspending jerkbait with the treble hooks because you're constantly going to get caught up. So that's why I always have the soft plastic jerkbait tied on, because sometimes too much grass in the area, got to give up the suspending jerkbait, throw on the soft plastic jerkbait, and I'm gonna end up hooking up on some fish. By far my favorite color in the soft plastic jerkbait is going to be white. I absolutely always have a bag of white soft plastic jerkbaits. I also like the watermelon red and the black and silver. Last one on the list, I had a very hard time with this one. Couldn't choose between the two, so it's kind of a 2 for 1. The top water popper and the frog. You got to have some straight topwater baits in there in your tackle box at all times. So the topwater popper is going to excel in kind of like open water areas, you know, not a lot of grass, not a lot of cover. You know, if you got a bank that doesn't have much vegetation near it, but you see fish feeding like on points and things like that, especially early morning, late evening, the topwater popper is going to excel. Some of my favorite colors are going to be the black and silver, the bone color, a white, you know, something along those lines. Just something natural. Topwater popper, absolutely killer. And then of course, the topwater frog. Nothing beats a topwater frog blow up. It is one of the coolest things in bass fishing by far. Now, the colors that I like are gonna be the natural colors, like your whites, your blacks, your greens. You know, I know some guys will actually cut the tails of the frogs off, like completely cut them off and use them almost like a little topwater spook, and you can do that with them. But I like to leave the tails on and just work it across lily pads, grass. I mean, just the nastiest stuff. You can work a topwater frog, and when that bass comes up and nails it, it just gets your heart thumping. It is one of the best bites ever. I always have a number of frogs in my tackle box, and I think you guys should too. It doesn't end here. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to make this top 5 bass lures a challenge. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna challenge 5 channels to create their top 5 must-have bass lures, and I want each one of those channels to challenge 5 other channels. So I'm gonna challenge Parabellum Fishing, Brim Bass and Beyond, Cam the Man Fishing, Bayou Buck, and Bogley's Keeping It Real. Now hopefully these guys accept the challenge and they put out their top 5 must-have bass lures and challenge 5 other channels. I will leave links to everybody's channel down in the description below, and then when they post their videos, I'll put those video links down there as well. Let me know down in the comments, guys, did you agree with this list? Did you not agree with it? Did I miss something? Am I spot on? You can also check out most of the top 5 lures here in action. I'll catch you guys in the next one.